Thank you all for listening to me. An overview of the current state of the world. I find the current moment in history rather painful. Open societies are in crisis, and various forms of dictatorships and mafia states, exemplified by Putin's Russia, are on the rise. In the United States, President Trump would like to establish a mafia state, but can't, because the Constitution, the institutions, and a vibrant civil society won't allow it. Whether we like it or not, my foundations, most of our grantees, and myself personally are fighting an uphill battle, protecting the democratic achievements of the past. But now that the open society is also endangered in the United States and Europe, we are spending more than half our budget closer to home. We must also safeguard the values of open society. Open society will always have its enemies. The best defense is a principled counterattack. The enemies of open society feel victorious. That's what's happening in places like Hungary today. I used to define the goals of my foundations as defending open societies from their enemies, making governments accountable, and fostering a critical mode of thinking. But the situation has deteriorated. Not only the survival of open society, but the survival of our entire civilization is at stake. The rise of leaders such as Kim Jong-un in North Korea and Donald Trump in the United States have much to do with this. I want to spend the bulk of my remaining time on another global problem, the rise and monopolistic behavior of the giant IT platform companies. These companies have often played an innovative and liberating role, but as Facebook and Google have grown into ever more powerful monopolies, they have become obstacles, and they have caused a variety of problems. So social media companies exploit the social environment. This is particularly nefarious because social media companies influence how people think and behave without them even being aware of it. This has far-reaching adverse consequences on the functioning of democracy, particularly on the integrity of elections. It's only a matter of time before the global dominance of the US IT monopolies is broken. Davos is a good place to announce that their days are numbered. Regulation and taxation will be their undoing, and EU Competition Commissioner Vestager will be their nemesis. In conclusion, let me point out that we are living in a revolutionary period. All our established institutions are in a state of flux. And in these circumstances, both fallibility and reflexivity are operating at full force. I lived through similar conditions in my life, most recently some 30 years ago. That's when I set up my network of foundations in the former Soviet Empire. The main difference between the two periods is that 30 years ago, the dominant creed was international governance and cooperation. The European Union was the rising power, and the Soviet Union the declining one. Today, however, the motivating force is nationalism. Russia is resurgent, and the European Union is in danger of abandoning its values. As you will recall, the previous experience didn't turn out well for the Soviet Union. The Soviet Empire collapsed, and Russia has become a mafia state that has adopted a nationalist ideology. My foundations did quite well. The more advanced members of the Soviet Empire joined the European Union. Now our aim is to help save the European Union. A large proportion of the current generation has come to regard the European Union as its enemy. One important country, Britain, is in the process of leaving the EU, and at least two countries, Poland and Hungary, are ruled by governments that are adamantly opposed to the values on which the European Union was based. There is an acute conflict with various European institutions, and those institutions are trying to discipline them. So let me end and invite your questions. Thank you.
Wacht auf Deutschland, das kann ich nur sagen.